We are spending a week living with the 2025 Genesis GV80, the Korean luxury manufacturer's largest SUV. I remember when I first drove a GV80, I was so impressed. I was like, this thing is properly competitive with the German rivals, whether BMW X5 and Audi Q7, and they have updated it to keep it nice and competitive. So we have changes to the styling, headlight, grille here. We've got tweaks to the interior. This thing is like a Korean Bentley Bentayga, really impressive. So we're gonna find out what it's like to live with. Let's talk about the powertrain. So this specific GV80 has the 3.5-liter turbocharged V6, making 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. Now there is an entry-level 2.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder that makes 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque, and there's actually a slightly more powerful version, but I believe that's only limited to the GV80 Coupe. So this one here with 375 horsepower, 391 pound-feet of torque is pretty solid, 8-speed automatic transmission, and it has all-wheel drive. It's a little bit cloudy today, but if it was sunny out, you could really see how cool this paint is. That's a dark green metallic paint on these 22-inch wheels, and check out this interior spec. We've got the saddle brown with green contrast. That's not black leather. That's green and brown. So green exterior over green and brown interior. That's a pretty unique and classy looking spec for sure. And watch this. So this is the key fob. There's nobody in the car right now. I'm gonna go lock and then hold this to start the car. That's remote start, right? But let's just say I'm in a tight parking spot or garage. You know what? I'm gonna take the car for a walk. So we press and hold this. I have a remote control car. There's nobody in it. I'll show you. Yeah, just taking my car for a walk this morning. You can also go backwards. Press and hold this button here. There we go. Just grabbed a few clips of the GV80 as the sun is setting. Lighting was very nice. Gonna head to dinner now. I'm gonna put my wait a second. This center console is tiny. That's very shallow. Oh my gosh, it won't even fit a digital camera. That is like super shallow center console. Interesting. All right, I'll put that somewhere else. But we have more storage here. My wireless phone charger's down there. We have USB-C ports, one for USB, one for power. See the wireless charger, that's a 12 volt, 180 watt outlet. And then some cup holders here. You can see a little bit of the ambient lighting, and then a couple of the controls. And this is also a really cool texture and pattern. You can actually feel it's not just like shiny glossy. And then a full touch panel there for various other controls. I will show that later when we do a proper interior tour, but I gotta go pick up a couple friends as we head off to dinner. Tonight is Korean barbecue. Also probably from whoever detailed this car before I got it, but we have the vacuum quilting marks too. Soft closed doors, and also because the sun is out this morning, you can really see the metallic flake in the paint. This is a new paint color called Store Green, and it's also available in a matte finish because Genesis offers you matte paint finishes, which is really cool. This screen is new for the refresh model. It's a 27-inch OLED screen that connects across here, and the really cool thing is the background matches the outside conditions, whether it's cloudy or sunset or raining, it updates. And that's a really cool detail. It's subtle, but when you recognize it, when you see it and notice it, it's a really cool thing. You see we have instructions here for how to interface with the widgets. There's a little touchpad right here. So if you press OK, you can browse all of them. Press and hold the OK button to hide. Okay, swiping left and right will change. Okay, and press OK to, okay, yeah, so it gives you instructions, but you can make that go away. So this is like swipey sensitive. I go up and down, you see there's the various trip computer things, media, there's the weather, and then back to true computer. So you interface with this little swipey little square right here. The cameras are pretty good. You have the overhead view and then the backup view. If I go into drive, it'll show me the overhead view up here, make it a bit easier to make sure you're centered in the parking spot. And we have the 360 view, which is also fun. You can live pan around. Some of the more basic 3D render view, it locks you into a couple different angles, but Genesis lets you just pan around live. And if you go backwards and into this mode, you'll see the wheels actually turn. Look at that. Talk about realism. A feature I really like is the blind view monitor. So when you hit the turn signal, it pulls up a live camera view of your blind spot in the cluster. So it is really helpful when you're changing lanes. Obviously you have a regular blind spot warning too in the actual mirror itself. And then obviously you can also turn your head, but it's just an added little feature there that Hyundai Kia Genesis does that I like quite a lot. When you turn the car off, you have a goodbye sequence. That's pretty cool. And I almost tried to get into this GV80, but this is not mine. This is the pre-refresh one. So the headlights are different, front fascia is a little bit different, the grille is actually different, and this is a different green too. And of course, the interior is different. The screen layout, there's mine. A darker green for sure, but started walking out to the first green GV80 and I was like, wait, no, that one's not mine. Oops. Well, let's show the welcome sequence. There we go. Woo. Let's take an exterior tour and check out the design of the GV80. It's perfect right now with the sun setting. You see my very long shadow right there, but specifically the sun hitting this paint. It's a new paint color for the refresh model. It's called Storr Green, S-T-O-R-R. It apparently takes inspiration from the deep green landscapes of the Isle of Skye in Scotland, but it's this really cool metallic green that when the light hits it, you really see that metallic flake. It's a relatively subtle color, really classy, and I've grown to quite like this green. And also, it is available as a matte finish. I think it is so cool that Hyundai Kia Genesis, they offer factory matte paint finishes on their vehicles. So up front, we have changes to the styling. They're relatively subtle tweaks, right? So the headlights here have been redesigned. These little squares are called the micro lens array, like little squares of LEDs that form the two-line approach. So the double line, the two-line pattern is something that Genesis really incorporates into their styling, including on the front grille here. So the crest grille shape, it's like a big shield. It kind of echoes the shape of the Genesis logo. Has the two lines here, the crisscross pattern right there, and then you kind of see the general shield. Oh, that's actually texture. That's pretty cool. And I do like how like the Wing Genesis badge here has this like indent that goes across the hood, like it's set into it, which is pretty cool. But the general shape is supposed to be evoking of the actual logo there, so of the grille. And then you see the double lines here. These are the DRLs up front. Man, that paint is real nice. The front fascia has been slightly updated too. We've got 22-inch wheels on this one here, and as we come along to the side, you can see the double line of lights that continue these like side indicators. And just let's take a moment to appreciate this paint as the sun is hitting, as the sun is setting. That looks really nice. In terms of the side profile, this is the regular GV80 because there is now a GV80 coupe. Yes, a coupe SUV. Genesis has jumped on the bandwagon. BMW has been doing it with the X6. You have Audi Q8 versus the Q7. It just means, I mean, it's an oxymoron, right? How can an SUV be a coupe? It just means they have the sportier roofline, like the fastback look that comes down there. This is the conventional SUV body style, but consumers like it. They do well. Cayenne has a Cayenne coupe version, so Genesis was like, we're gonna jump in on that party too, even though it's technically less practical. But this is the normal SUV body style. Coming around back, you see the taillights also follow that two lines approach here. They look pretty cool. They also hid the exhaust tips, so you don't see them anymore. They have a little bit, you can see another kind of that crest shield shape here where this angles down, but they hid the exhaust tips underneath, so for a cleaner, more kind of luxurious, seamless look to it. And another thing they did, so there's no like handle for the button here. To actually open the trunk, you press that. See this little icon there? with the windshield wiper, and that opens up your rear trunk. It's decently practical inside here. Whoever detailed this also did a good job vacuuming in the lines to really evoke and reinforce that pattern, right? Look, it imitates the front grille design. We have the cargo cover here. Yep, struggling. There we go. To hide your valuables. Back here, it's pretty standard. The backpack in here, it's pretty spacious, so not bad. This spec is called Earth Brown and Smoky Green. So this is not black leather. This is a very, very dark green. You can see there with the sunlight hitting it, the color. It is really, really unique with this quilted brown leather across the seats, like a saddle tan brown color. It's really, really nice. Napa leather on all sorts of different surfaces. So like I say, this is a Korean Bentayga. I know it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but that's like the best compliment you can give. Like, this interior is really, really nice. Everybody I've shown it to has been like, wow, this is really impressive on the inside. And for me, it's the spec. This green and brown. I don't think I've ever seen a car with a dark green and brown interior color combo. Let's go ahead and hop in. And then we have a digital touch panel for the majority of our climate controls. So you still have an actual rotating dial knob here for your temperature, but everything from your heated cooled seats, the fan speed, where you want the air blowing, your heated steering wheel, is all in this touch panel right here. I would say the fit and finish, the material choice, oh yeah, like this is all suede, all that matching tan brown colored suede from the A-pillars across the entire roof. Like, that's really, really nice. And then some of the details you see, like, they did a very, very good job on the inside. I'm happy to see they have maintained their level of quality and like just great design. The tech is pretty easy to interface with. I'll be honest, I mean, most of the time I'm just using Apple CarPlay when I'm in the car, but this touchscreen here, go to 3D setup. You can see the graphics, some of the details, see inside. Take a look at that. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Vehicle settings. So like this, they did a good job with this. Absolutely did a good job. All right, let's go check out the second row space. So, oh, yeah, I also have massage seats right here. Driver's seat is where I comfortably sit while driving. Not bad. Headroom is pretty good. Oh, I have a little mirrors back here. Huh. Hello. Little illuminated mirrors. This is all suede. I moved this seat forward so you have plenty more space there. The second row seats are heated and cooled. We have 2 USB-C ports there and a full outlet. So if you need to plug in your laptop here, it's 150 watts. You could charge a laptop working back here. So climate controls, we have the center armrest cup holder here down. Not like crazy executive second row comfort. Like if you want that, the Genesis G90 is really impressive. Their big luxury sedan. But this is pretty good. The seats have the same quilting and a little bit of curvature bolstering, so it's not just flat benches across here. And then we have the privacy shades, our own little sunroof back here, panoramic roof. You can look back there in the trunk. So this is also not bad in the second row. I'd probably choose to sit in that one and then have all of the legroom. All right, I am heading to downtown Chicago to grab dinner, so let's do some POV driving and give you guys a first-person view of what it's like to drive the GV80. This thing has been very, very nice to live with. The interior materials, the quality, it just feels extremely premium and luxurious, and actually raises a lot of questions like what defines a luxury vehicle. Genesis is positioned to go up against BMW, Audi, Mercedes, Lexus, and I think they have absolutely nailed the experience in terms of the isolation, the quietness, the soft touch, the technology, the driving. But the only thing Genesis doesn't have is the history, right? The brand perception of Genesis, they haven't quite reached it yet because it's a very, very new brand. You look at the German luxury brands, they go back decades and decades and decades. Genesis, a lot of people are just now learning about Genesis as its standalone brand. They have a full lineup now from when they got spun off from Hyundai. Remember, this was actually a model at one point, and now it's a full lineup of vehicles. And I've been really impressed with every single Genesis model that I have spent time with. The GV70, I recommend it to people. I really, really like it. GV80, a bit bigger, a little bit more luxurious. The G90, the G70, they do a quite good job. And I think I remember seeing, because they were like stealing engineers and designers from all sorts of other manufacturers. Like, oh, we're going to take a designer from Bentley. We'll take some Audi people. We'll take some BMW engineers. So they're kind of borrowing from the best of the best to really speed themselves up to make themselves competitive. And it's worked. It has definitely worked. Design standpoint, they're distinctive. They stand out. They have a unique look. Look at some of the concepts they bring to auto shows. Like, wow, are they cool. If they make that, what's it called? I think the Magma, that like swoopy two-door, like coupe, luxury coupe, supercar looking thing. I mean, that would be so cool as a flagship Halo model. And you immediately can tell the family styling, the familiarity with the different ones, regardless of size and segment. So I think they're doing a great job. Now, what has it been like to live with this week? Very comfortable, quiet. I would describe the power as adequate. It's solid. Getting up to the freeway, we're about to merge on the highway. Go ahead and floor it. I'm going to actually toggle into sport mode to prepare for that. I think it's hilarious that the bolsters hug you. They kind of cinch in when you rotate into sport mode. That's really, really cool. And actually kind of threw me off. I was like, wait, why is the seat adjusting the first time I went into sport mode? We do have paddle shifters here. But for the mainstream Genesis models, I wouldn't say they really skew towards the sporty end of things. Like that power that's strong, right? Nearly 400 pound-feet of torque is plenty strong from just a twin-turbo V6. No hybridization on this one, no plug-in hybrid. Keeps the weight down, which is definitely nice. Now, if they ever were to try to embark into making like really, really potent performance ones, because you look at the other brands, they do have that model, like top of the line, really seriously hardcore, more performance oriented. BMW has their M, Audi has the RS, Mercedes has AMG, Porsche's just Porsche, and then Lexus has their F models, although I feel like Lexus hasn't really done it to their SUVs. They haven't really needed to. It would be cool to see Genesis do something like that. All right, Tesla, come on, you're a dual motor. Use both your motors and accelerate, please. All right, that's flooring it. Speed limit right there, not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my massage seats. They call them ergo motion seats, so it's a pretty basic massage. You either do pelvis, which is the lower, waist, which is the back, or whole body. But it's nice a little bit. It's not the most advanced massage seat controls here, so on the more simple side there. But I gotta say, at freeway speeds, like wind noise, road noise is very well isolated. It doesn't have the floaty air suspension feel. It's got this like electronically controlled damping for the suspension. We have a rear diff, and it's got some sort of road preview, I believe. I think I remember reading that in the press review or press release. But I would say it's about mid-level in terms of the comfort. If you really want something like floaty and luxurious, air suspension is the one that can help achieve that, and like a GLS or something like that. But it's still been very, very nice to drive all week long. Let's go ahead and turn on our cruise control, have adaptive cruise. I'm gonna keep a hand on the wheel, but it'll help take curves and just gently rest your hand there. Let's take some time to talk about the pricing and if this is a good value. So this one here, as a GV80 3.5 Prestige all-wheel drive, is right around $80,000. They start at like $78,000, $79,000, and it's pretty well equipped. The only options this one has is the paint. I think it's a $650 paint option, and then it has a destination delivery, right? So 80 grand. We'll call it 80 grand for a pretty well optioned up GV80. Now, the lower engine, and you can get lower trims. You don't want to go straight to the Prestige, right? It starts around $58,000, and that's about in line with what a luxury SUV sits in this segment. It competes against Q7, X5, Mercedes GLE. It's not big enough to go up against a GLS or an X7 or something like that, right? But against those competitors, I'd say it does very, very well. It has the styling, it has the interior, it has enough of the tech, and it's just a overall very, very nice experience. So another thing that Genesis also has is 3 years, 36,000 included maintenance. That actually is relatively more common in newer vehicles, especially once you get into the luxury space. But it also comes with a 5-year, 60,000 mile warranty and a 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. That's good for peace of mind. 100%, right? That could be something that would sway you from shopping for a BMW X5 into a Genesis. Like, that's properly impressive. I also love blind view monitor. When you pull up your turn signal to make a lane change, it pulls up a live camera view right in the cluster, right in front of you. Obviously, you still want to take a look, check your mirror, which also has the blind spot warning. Also, you can also look all the way around, right? So you got like 3 different layers of blind spot assistance. But it's been a very, very enjoyable week driving this around. Weather today actually ended up being quite nice. Traffic looks to be okay heading downtown. I'll be there in 36 minutes, which actually, that's not bad at all. Tomorrow it's supposed to rain a lot, so it'll be a gloomy, gray, rainy day. But with the sun out, I want to take advantage, get some nice filming and driving, be out and about. It is rather cold today still, 37 degrees. I'm going to turn my heated steering wheel on, my heated seats, get nice and warm. The heated seats also makes the center console, the armrest right here, get nice and toasty too. So a little cocoon of warmth. My massage seat's going, driver assistance system's going. I just need to gently rest a hand on the wheel. Heading downtown to grab some hot pot to see my youngest brother. Not a bad evening at all. At night when you're in reverse, you had this red glow around the transmission selector. When you're in reverse, it's like this light blue. When you drive, there's reverse. What's neutral? Also blue. Okay. I just happened to park next to this Genesis G90, and you can see a lot of family resemblance. So you have the 2 lights, the lines along the side. The front headlights also have that little micro lens array, the little squares of light, the big shield grille. So they are doing a very good job, and I really like these G90s. They are luxurious. Check out that puddle lamp that folds out as you approach the vehicle. Final thoughts on what it has been like to live with this 2025 Genesis GV80 Prestige. This is a really, really nice luxury SUV. One of the things that stands out to me the most is the interior, the design, the materials, the quality. I mean, this like suede headliner is so nice. The touch points, the build quality, the spec is also really, really nice and unique. And I appreciate that the tech is not too over the top. I feel like some of the German rivals are a little bit more in your face with the technology, whether it's the BMWs or the Audi. This one feels a little more refined, and it's also echoed in the driving experience. This is like a elegant experience. It doesn't try to be too sporty. It really prioritizes the comfort. I mean, on the freeway at freeway speeds, wind noise and road noise is impressively quiet. Like, this thing is definitely a great road trip, day-to-day luxury SUV. Could Genesis do a sportier, more performance-focused line? I think they could. A lot of these luxury brands do that, and it helps, right? It brings some enthusiasm, passion to the brand, whether it's the AMG models, the M models. But like, for example, an X5M competition that's pretty dang sporty. It's pretty dang firm. This is definitely way more quiet, smooth, and isolated because Genesis was just like, we're going to prioritize that aspect of the experience. But I think they did a good job with this refresh. If I was being super picky, super picky, and at $80,000-ish as option, this is a prestige model. I think I can be a little bit picky. The massage seats don't have as much functionality as some other options in this price point and segment, so it's kind of more on the basic side, but that just sounds so picky at that point. Otherwise, like, this inside and out, it's nice, it's comfortable, luxurious. I think it's a great option in this price point as an alternative, and they offer you a pretty fantastic warranty. But I definitely enjoyed my time with the GV80. I think it would be cool if they did a slightly maybe sportier trim, see what they could do with that, because some of their other options do drive nicely, a bit more power and performance. I would be interested to see if they do an electrified version of this, and actually I would be really interested to see if they did like a GV90, take like their formula for the G90 luxury sedan and turn it into an SUV and go up against like a Mercedes GLS Maybach. Like, that would be pretty impressive. See what the Koreans could do right there. But a week spent living with the GV80. Oh, also this color, so cool. This paint scheme, this color combo, 10 out of 10. I would option one in this color combo because it is that awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Would you get a GV80? Would you choose this over an X5, a Audi Q7, a Mercedes GLE, or maybe even a Porsche Cayenne, although those are going to be a bit more expensive? Thanks for watching.